Welcome to Random Record Roulette, where I use the Discogs app on my phone to select a record at random from my collection and see if I can defend owning it, or if there's an interesting story behind it, or, whatever. So let's give the app a shake and see what comes up. Focus. Ooh! Well, okay. Jackpot indeed. Full Mental Jackpot EP by Crop Circles. Boy, do I have stuff to say about this. Holy shit, what a pick. Okay, I'm gonna go fetch it and have a think about what am I even gonna say about this. I'll say this actually first. So when I do these, sometimes it's like pretty straightforward what I should say. If it's something is mediocre, that's easy. I'll just, talk shit about it or explain why I made a stupid purchase. But when something is this huge and monumental and important, it gets really hard to because I haven't prepared. It gets really hard to figure out what to say to do this thing justice. And in this particular case, man, I don't know if there's a way to do it justice. But okay, I'll have a think while I get it from the collection. Okay, what am I supposed to say about this even? So the biggest section of the biggest style out of my record collection would be Goa trance, because I've collected Goa trance in the way that a stamp collector collects stamps. They don't intend to send a whole lot of letters. That's not the purpose. And I've collected this genre of music, of course, because I'm interested in it, but then I became a completist, so I've bought so much stuff in this style of music that I'm not really excited to listen to always, because in any genre, most stuff is kind of bad. But the reason I got interested in Goa trance as a genre was some of the sounds and textures were quite unique in the world of music and in the world of electronic dance music. It was sort of the introduction of a lot of new elements beyond what trance and techno and acid had before. It was all of that plus EBM and just all sorts of influences from different genres. It was new techniques with synthesizers, new types of mixing techniques, new types of arrangements, new scales even to some degree used in this kind of music. And to me, the masters of this sound, the band, in the sense that there were bands, but like the group or whatever, that took this to its ultimate potential in the very short amount of time when this genre peaked, basically 94 to 97 maybe, was Etnica from Italy, when they were 4 members. I think the 4-member era of Etnica is extremely precious and special. There's really nothing else like it. And I'll talk more about them in other videos, I'm sure, but I guess this is going to be the first one. However, there was another Italian band or duo called Lotus Omega, and there was a collaboration between 4-man Etnica and Lotus Omega, and they called themselves Crop Circles. I'm not exactly sure who did what in that collaboration, whether they were all 6 in this studio. That would have to be some sort of record. But yeah, there's 6 people credited. And they released 2 EPs back in the day when they were still active. There's been other releases since, where, catching up on unreleased stuff and so on. But the really worthwhile tracks were all released back in the 90s. And so the first one was the debut release on a label called Auracle Recordings. And this is the one. This is Full Mental Jackpot EP, and it is indeed that. So I have 2 copies of this. I have the regular version. Actually, let me take it out of the sleeve. It is all pixelated and horrible, but and then in the back you have Max Lanfranconi, Carlo Paterno, Maurizio Begotti, Andrea Rizzo, Franco D'Amato, and Filippo. Oh, how do you even pronounce that? I think it's misspelled, his last name here. But yeah, the first 4 would be 4-man Etnica, also releasing under the name Pleiadians. And then the last 2, Franco and Filippo, were Lotus Omega. And yeah, so this is copyrighted in 96. I think supposedly released in 97, this full thing. I think that's what it said on Discogs. This is still up. Yeah, it says 97, but I also have this other pressing, a test pressing or promo or what you want to call it. And this for sure was out in '96. This is actually the copy formerly owned by renowned Goa trance DJ and occasionally artist in bands like Mark Allen. This was his that I bought. He sold this entire collection to someone who then sold it on eBay, but I contacted him and got a whole lot of the stuff before it went on eBay. Anyway, so yeah, from Goa Trance Royalty is this thing. And yeah, this is super high octane, multi-layered, whirling, kaleidoscopic, just incredible music, really. Like the fact that they were able to do this with like an Atari as a sequencer and just a bunch of analog synthesizers. It is quite the effort, just in terms of the engineering of this and the arrangement and everything. And then musically, it's just like, I'm like, this, I don't know if you can catch this on the camera, but like I get goosebumps talking about this. I get goosebumps thinking about this record before I've even played it. Like this is for real. This is like holy grail level music for me. So, I mean, I basically don't even need to play this. I know this one so well. There are 2 tracks on here. They are Full Mental Jackpot and Different Species, but Full Mental Jackpot I think is, for good reason, the lead track. They're both kind of slow, 138 BPMs and 130 BPMs. And the A-side Full Mental Jackpot is also long, 11 minutes 30. It takes its time to build up and go through all these movements. Look, I don't even know what to say. Like, this is so important to me, this stuff, this band, this sound. Bummer about this super pixelated cover, but whatever. And you can scoff at, crop circles, so I believe in the supernatural because I'm a Goa trance hippie on drugs. Whatever, it's part of the aesthetic. So I just think this happens to be fantastic, monumental music. And I'm gonna keep both copies. I'm not selling either. I need a backup of this. Please listen to this. Please listen, especially the title track, Full Mental Jackpot. Sit down and play that on a loud of a volume that you can muster. And just, if you haven't heard this kind of music before, you're going to be like overrun by this. It might be too much. But like the intricacy of the production, of all the filter tweaks, of all the sound design, and how it all weaves together, incredible, man. Just incredible. So what a pick for a Random Record Roulette. I'm on a roll here. This, like, my collection seems way better than it actually is if I just keep getting these really excellent records for this. So, like, in this series, I would love to, post the full song in the video, but that means I can't monetize the video. And I have this hope to earn $1 or $2 on my YouTube adventures on the off chance that something somehow, gets a lot of views. I don't know how that would happen. But anyway, copyright strikes are going to happen if I post a full song. Maybe I'll add a tiny little clip just to get you a taste of sort of the what even is this sound. So I will, as always, link to this in the description below. All right, until next time, see ya.